And you're welcome back. You're watching TV3 New Day. Now, over the weekend and last week, we've had many conversations about the unfortunate flooding situation that's happened in Akosombo and its surrounding areas. This morning, we're going to be talking to our reporter who's on the ground now in Akosombo to bring us updates about what's happening now on the ground. And also we're going to be speaking to the MP for one of the areas which is affected, North Tong, Sam Okojeto-Ablakwa, who join us on the line. So I believe now we have our reporter, Armstrong, on the line joining us. Well, first we'll speak to Sam Okojeto-Ablakwa and then we'll talk to Armstrong. Hello? Okay, we don't have him yet, but in a moment he'll join us. Roland, you've been on top of this from the beginning. I saw some of your posts on social media and some of the conversations you've had in studio. The number of people who have been affected, we're hearing so many different numbers. One person said 14,000, another person said about 23,000.
I think even in the conversation with the director for the National Disaster Management Organization, in the first instance, he said 25,000, and then at some point he said 14,000. So it looks like we have varied estimation of the numbers that will be affected. I do know that I spoke to some top individuals within the VRA who did tell me that the last time there was this disaster of a sort was in 1968, but there was also an equally disastrous spillage of the dam about 13 years ago. That would be in 2010. But they undertake annual, what they call sensitization engagement in various communities. How that is intensive and close to the period when we're doing spillage, I guess is a question all of us need to ask. Clearly, the communities didn't look like they were disaster prepared. And then there's a question about...
How could they have been prepared for this?
Well, the best way is for you to salvage what you have. And that will mean that the notice for you to evacuate would have to come in earlier. Because people's investments have been destroyed by way of either fish cages, etc., and some other forms of investment along the waterfront. And then also people's homes and other businesses they have in the towns have been destroyed. And then their places of abode and other means also have been curtailed.
The houses have been submerged.
Yeah, so their whole towns have been submerged. So it's like we're here and then we're just in water. Yeah. You know, that literally, it's not as if that the normal ones that come to the window level or just the flooring of a particular area or a house. So that's how enormous the disaster is. We have thousands, I would say hundreds of thousands of people who have been inundated with these waters from the spillage.
Oh, that's very troubling. Let's talk now to Honorable Okojeto-Ablakwa, MP for North Tong constituency. Hello, sir.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Are you currently in your constituency? Where exactly are you?
Yes, I am within the Bato and Mapa enclave, the communities that have been worst affected. Last night I was in the Pochuku area, then I moved to Dofo Adidome, who are the new communities that we have had to evacuate people and create new shelters. So the situation is getting out of control. Many more communities are being affected. It's clear to us that the VRA spilling continues. The water is still being discharged. And so many more communities are being affected. We are now talking about over 40 communities that have been affected, that are totally submerged. Hundreds of houses have been destroyed by the water. Properties running into millions of Ghana cedis have been destroyed. There is no water currently. Many communities do not have electricity because ECG has said that they need to cut power so that it doesn't lead to electrocution, because a lot of their substations have been submerged. We also have academic work disrupted. Schools have been disrupted. Students have been asked by the Education Directorate to stay at home. And a good number of these schools are being used as shelters, as camps, to take care of the people who have been displaced. So it's a humanitarian crisis, and we will appeal for more support. I know that a few individuals have sent in their support. NADMO has been here, but it's clear that NADMO is overwhelmed. They need more attention from government. I would also want to use this opportunity to appeal to corporate Ghana, to philanthropists, NGOs. It's a really dire situation, particularly for the vulnerable, the aged, children, women. It's a really, really difficult situation.
Honorable, in the meantime, I saw that you put out just a few days ago that you are hoping that the VRA would ensure that all affected individuals are moved to higher ground. Have they heeded to your call?
It doesn't appear they have heeded to my call. And the challenge I have with VRA is how they really have not engaged us as members of parliament. Will you believe that before they put out their statement on September 12th that there was going to be controlled spillage, they didn't engage us. And as we speak, there's been no formal engagement. Yes, I met the deputy CEO of VRA in the field as we were touring communities. I met him in Bapa. But there has been no formal engagement from the VRA management, and that is wrong because they are the only ones who know the quantum of water they are going to spill. They are the only ones who understand how massive this is going to be. And if they had brought us into the picture, we will have sensitized our people and we will have made sure that they move to higher ground.
Okay.
It will have avoided the surprise situation that this has created and the levels of destruction. At least people will have been able to salvage a lot more and people will not have been traumatized and left with nothing the way that the situation has panned out. So VRA has lots of questions to answer and we are going to insist that they take care of their victims. There must be full compensation because they cannot visit because you see, if this was a natural disaster, like a tsunami, a hurricane, nature has taken us by surprise, you can understand. But this is man-made. This is man-made. It's VRA looking at their water levels and saying that, look, it's too high. We want to preserve the dam, so we are going to spill. So it's man-made. You are controlling the entire process. So keep us in the loop. Engage with the community leaders. Let's all have a plan. Let's have an evacuation strategy. Let us make sure that the disaster preparedness kicks in. And you value human life. You show us that you value human life, you respect human beings, and you value properties that people have worked, hard in this harsh economic times, to secure. So VRA has a lot of questions to answer, but I must also place on record that we are not only pointing accusing fingers, we are mobilizing. So this afternoon at 1 p.m., I'm launching what I call the MP's mobile relief caravan. We have secured a good number of relief items from bags of rice, sugar, bait, blankets, mosquito nets, soap, hygiene items, detergents, tissues, and what have you. And we have vehicles that will be going around the various camps to deliver the items so that at least we can assist our victims to keep body and soul together. Then tomorrow, I've also spoken to the Ghana Medical Association because what I fear the most now is the public health crisis that is looming. Because, the water has entered all kinds of, unholy places. It's gone into mortuaries, cemeteries, refuse dams, public toilets. And for a lot of our people, they were cooking with this water. Some of them drink this river source as good water. Now the water is contaminated. And if care is not taken, there will be a cholera outbreak or a typhoid outbreak. So we have engaged with the Medical Association, and we are going to do a medical outreach from tomorrow. We'll reach out to all the camps, we'll do public education, and we hope that the Ghana Health Service will also step in, the Ministry of Health, because the last thing we want is to also now have an epidemic, communicable diseases break out, and then already the people are homeless, they are struggling to survive under all kinds of tents, and then they now have to grapple with medical conditions. That would really, really be dire. And I hope that we don't get there.
Okay. Roland,
well, so the critical issue about trying to do the pre-spillage disaster management, when you had this consultation with the VRA, of course you say you met them on the field, and then also the NADMO officials, did they say they had a plan in place beyond just the main sensitization they claim that they undertook annually?
Yes, so when we met in the field, they told me that the Deputy CEO of VRA said that they have sent a few relief items to to NADMO, and that NADMO will be doing the distribution. I can confirm that some of the camps have received some rice and some oil, but the items are not adequate. NADMO has told me that they are still mobilizing some more resources and other relief items, and that they hope to return to the constituency, because what we are really in short supply of now is food, medicines, tents. We also would need a lot of mosquito nets, because a lot of these people are sleeping in the open, even though they are in makeshift camps. They are not, fully protected. Either there's a window that doesn't really have a full, a full complement, or a door that is open and all of that. So mosquitoes are able to just get in easily. So we are providing some mosquito nets at our own level, but it will be good to have a lot more from NADMO, and also corporate Ghana, other NGOs, other philanthropists who want to reach out. We are distributing food, we are distributing water, we are distributing medicines, but the numbers keep increasing. There are more communities that are being evacuated, and they are going to be in these camps for a long time. From what we are picking up from VRA, they are going to continue spilling throughout the week, and so it means the water levels will keep rising. Many more communities will be affected. So we will need more assistance.
You need all these reliefs now,
and that's why we need you.
While we know the number of houses or the communities, and you mentioned in excess of 40, do we know by way of the human head count, the numbers, so that when the appeals are being made, we know that maybe it's 40,000, 100,000 people or 2,000 people who need to be targeted in this national relief appeal that you, as well as all of us, are making?
So the figure that NADMO officials have indicated, and from our own rounds, we are looking at over 6,000 people in North Tongue alone. If you add Central Tongue, South Tongue, yes, I admit that we are the worst hit. But if you add the other communities, including Keta, Ada, Anlo, Esojaman, I'm sure that this will be hitting about 50 to 70,000, affected people, and the number will rise because many more communities are being evacuated. I told you last night that we had to evacuate a few more people around the Klamada Boy, Alabonu, Togoma area. This morning, we have had to relocate the people at the Mapotogodo, because the Ngolipe Bridge has given in, it's totally submerged. And so that the numbers are going to keep rising. I'm sure by midweek, the situation in North Tongue will be about 10,000 people who will have become affected. So we're talking about huge numbers, and that's why we will need more food, we will need more blankets, we will need more warm clothing, We'll need more mosquito nets and medicines in particular. I'm really particular about medicines, particularly for the aged and for children, because some of them are on medication. They couldn't salvage their medication. And you know that a lot of the hospitals too are underwater. They don't have access to health care. So if the pharmaceutical companies are listening, I have reached out to a few already, and let me use this opportunity to thank a few who have sent in support, which I'll be distributing this afternoon. But we will certainly need a lot more pharmaceutical support.
Honorable, let me just quickly ask this as well, because again, climate change is a conversation that we've been having for many years, looking at ways by which we can reduce it to the barest minimum. But in the meantime, do you think that a conversation should begin about maybe looking at a permanent residence uphill for a lot of the people who live within the lower Volta basin? Because we can never tell when again there'll be a spillage. The last time it happened was a couple of years ago. But what if it happens again with, you know, the incessant rainfall? Do you think a conversation should be had where we look for permanent residence uphill for a lot of the people who live within these communities? And will that be possible?
These are difficult conversations that we must have. Remember that already these are people who had to give up their land for the Akosombo Dam and the Bond Dam to be built. And as I speak to you, a lot of them are still waiting to be compensated. The VRA itself, and when I met the deputy CEO, he admitted in our discussion, he admitted that yes, there are a few more communities that are yet to be compensated. And so it's not just an easy solution to just ask people who have been living in places all their life, land that belongs to them, that's where they farm, that's where they make a living, to just vacate, especially when you don't have arrangements to take care of them, to compensate them. They have made enormous sacrifices already. Because of their sacrifices, we all can enjoy electricity all over Ghana. So I would rather opt for an engineering solution.
Okay.
I believe that in this modern era, we can have an engineering solution where anytime we need to carry out a discharge of this nature, we can use that engineering solution through tunnels. Okay. And then the water can be rechanneled to probably do irrigation, for example. We can even dam other parts of the country. Yeah. So I think that it's just lack of planning, and as national leaders, we probably have not, we inherit all of these assets from great leaders like Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, and taking the next step, what we must do in terms of phase 2, phase 3, to make sure that the blessing continues, the blessing is expanded, and we also show that during our time, our era, in a modern dispensation, we also, because by the time this Akosombo Dam was launched in 1965, it was celebrated all over the world. It was seen as such a great, engineering feat from no place than Africa, Ghana, and we were talked about internationally. In that same spirit, I believe that if we put our engineers to it, they can come up with a very beautiful engineering solution that would rechannel the water, and we can use it for irrigation. Because we always complain that our agriculture is still very basic, very subsistence. Yeah. We have not modernized it. We are not doing proper irrigation farming and all of that. And we have the water. Many countries are looking for water. Indeed, analysts, experts have said that the next war will be over water. You're already seeing what is happening over the Nile. So if we have such a blessing, why waste it? Why induce man-made disaster? Destroy homes, destroy properties, destroy livelihoods, just because we are not planning, just because we are not thinking appropriately. So all right. I will opt for engineering solution.
Thank you. Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. Honorable Sam Okudzeto-Ablakwa is the MP for the North Tongue constituency, and he's already given us a number. About 6,000 of his constituents have been affected, and it could go up to about 10,000 by the end of today or the week. If you have any support for them, please do get in touch and let's drop those items for them. But I like that he said that a re-engineering plan should you know, come up because it's important. So I was thinking about all the water that's been destroyed. We're talking about almost importing water in the next couple of years because our water bodies are also, you know, polluted. This is a lot of water that maybe we could have treated to supply to the rest of the country. So even if we're not saving it for irrigation, is there a way we could have treated it and channeled that into the homes of people as well? A lot of things could have been done right. Unfortunately, this has happened.
Exactly. With all the sophisticated technology we have now, we should be able to do more than to just, you know, let a disaster like this occur, man-made disaster like this occur in times like this. Well, we have our reporter, Joseph Armstrong, now joining us from Akosombo. Hello, Joseph.
Yeah, hi.
We're happy to reach you. Where exactly are you?
So I'm currently at Mepe, one of the heavily hit communities in the Volta region.
Okay, and what can you tell us about updates, what's happening now there?
So this morning we have the interministerial committee coming in to assess the situation for themselves. The Volta regional minister is here, the deputy minister of information is here. We have some members of parliament as well, they are here. We are also told that the president of the Republic of Ghana is also on his way, and in the near future, in some few minutes, he will be here with us to also see how the destruction, the extent of destruction on the people here of Mepe, and from here he will move to other places as well. So currently we have the military on board trying to evacuate people from where they are currently. Earlier, the water is now spreading to other homes and other communities as well. So the military is helping to evacuate them from where they are currently stationed. That is what is happening here currently. At least you can count at least not less than about 50 soldiers that have been brought in compared to what we saw here last week, where you could see only about 4 soldiers today. Many soldiers with their boats on the flood waters trying to evacuate residents to a safe haven.
And have you spoken to some of the inhabitants of the community?
We have been talking to the inhabitants of the community. They are still not happy with how the evacuation process is being done, and also the really bad items that they bring to them. For them, they want something more. Like when you bring them dry rice, they ask, how do you expect us to prepare the dry rice? And many of them who are traders, like they sell food stuffs, like let's say chicken and other stuffs, because there's no light in the area, they've lost every single thing. I can see a chicken, a freezer full of chicken that has gone bad. I can see other rice, bag of rice that the flood waters have destroyed them. There's so much rice, bag of rice that have been destroyed, and the residents still count their losses. And let's see what the interministerial community are going to do to maybe help them aside the normal 1 pack of rice they are giving them on daily basis.
But for the people you spoke to, are they safe? Are they on dry ground, or are they still in the community?
Not currently. They've moved them to safe havens. As I speak to you, there's a school here called Kizito. That one is like more or less like on a higher ground, and you could see that is so far the only reliable place for them to step. And I'm trying to push myself for the soldiers. So many of them look sick, especially the elderly ones. You could see they are not so happy. They don't look too strong. But of course, I'm not a health expert. I cannot speak on that. But obviously, the expression on their faces, you could tell that these are not happy people who claim they've worked for so many years. And the matter of just a day and two, they've lost all their properties to the flood waters. And many of them are just not themselves as a victim umbrella.
Now, the Member of Parliament for Northern did mention that other communities that are along the channel also have been affected up to the Angloketa area. So beyond the north or the Tongu areas, which other communities do you know, based on your interaction, have been grossly affected?
Yeah, Roland, so now the water is getting closer. This morning for us when we go here, one of the places that caught my attention is the Bato Hospital nursing bungalow that the water has spread to their end, and they are currently trying to pack their belongings to leave that area. Last week when they came, the water was nowhere close to that area. But today, when you go here, the nursing bungalow has also been affected, and it means that the water is still rising to other places in the north on here. Just now, and it's getting closer to the evening. That's the situation currently, Roland.
So then for those communities that are at the end of the channel or where the tributary of the Volta River or lake is, how are they getting disaster prepared, knowing that those at the upper side have these difficulties?
Are you referring to the people at Adan, the other islands?
Apart from Adan, those going to the Keji areas, the Anglo areas, the Keta areas, I mean?
For now, the attention is not on them yet. On Saturday, I was at Adan, where I moved with the Navy to some of the island communities. All 36 island communities in Adan East and part of the Volta region have all been flooded. And you could see that NADMO has not even gone there yet. Okay. The first time they went there was when they moved with me to that area, and it's like they don't even have anything to help them. The NADMO official told me he's now going to talk to the district assembly to see how they can mobilize resources to go and evacuate them. Yesterday afternoon, I was told that they started the evacuation process. So those at the KG and Anglo area, I'm sure NADMO would have to start turning their attention to them too before they also get trapped within the floodwaters and then the Volta River.
Well, thank you very much. Armstrong, Joseph Armstrong giving us the latest. He's there, and we're going to speak to him throughout the rest of the day on other programming right here on TV3.